Hey guys, just for a quick one to show you. So we were talking about it real quick in our meeting, and I wanted to show you that I quickly implemented a real basic method using that, basically using the concept we were talking about. But wanted to let you know that that wasn't the best way to do it. I just wanted to still show you that it worked. So if you look down here at my buttons, and again, I'm using ID. Just know that this is not the most ideal way to do this, and I'm going to show you a better way to do it. But in this case, just for the sake of argument, we pass in E as a parameter. E goes, and this is actually the this we were talking about. So if we have it in this form, we've got here an arrow bracket, an arrow function, where E here represents this entire object. So this entire object here is passed in using this E parameter, because when we do it like this, we do this arrow format. The context is everything external to that, which is this object. So then what gets passed into, for example, toggle next, is this whole button. And from there, we can select different parts, or again, this. So that's how this is used. So let's go up there and have a look. So I've got here my toggle next. And again, I'm going to show you the correct way to do this in just a moment. And we have E, which is our element. I kept it the same. And then target. So in this case, the target of E is something I'm looking for on E, which is the ID. It's very similar to, for example, get element by ID or get element by class name. So I'm getting my element by ID, and that's how we utilize that. So, but I want to show you a better way here in just a moment. So, but basic, I want to run you through the concept here before I delete it. So e.target.id is like e.getElement by ID. And so that's basically it, or return the ID of this element. And so in this case, what I did was I created a new ID, which was equal to, and I have a plus here, we're turning the target ID, or the ID of the object, turning it into an integer, because if you do a plus before it, it turns a string into an integer. So while that is less than 4, if that is less than 4, we increment it right here, or we just leave it the same if it is 4, or yeah, if it's 4. And then the next thing you do is, in this case, if I was to use this method, I would do var b on my buttons is document get element by ID by class name shift number. Now I had 2 buttons and both of them were called shift number. Again, this is not the most ideal way to do this, but in React especially, but just wanted to show you that this works. So B0 ID equals B1 ID, which is equal to the new ID, or the new increment. So then I hide elements. So anything that doesn't have that class name, so if it has form hide and it has a number in it, then and that matches this, then it's visible. Otherwise, it's hidden. Now I wanted to show you how to, and this is run on startup. But again, this is not the most ideal way to do this. So I want to show you what the best way is. So I'm not sure if you've looked at my nav bar, but something I used there was called use state. I'm going to copy this, or you can just type it manually, but I'm tired. And you could do comma use state. I didn't need to actually have that part. So use state. So now we have use state from React. And how we use that is, as you can see here, you set a variable with 2 parameters. The first one is the value. This is how you set that value. And so you have a state. So I'm going to copy this just again because of laziness. And so we have here our object, which is a constant body function. So I'm going to put this below that. Constant current nav, except I'm going to go, maybe we can say page, I guess, current page. And then I'm going to go set current page. And I'm going to have the default as 1. 1 is the default when this page loads. So now I can do some fancy things. Instead of doing all of this stuff, I can literally have this. I'm going to comment all of this out. You watch. So I'm going to comment that out. And I'm going to show you, we don't even need to press E and E actually. So but I'm gonna leave it in there just for a second. So set current page, I'm gonna set it to, actually I probably do need it. In this case, it would be this part here. So I need this little expression here, except it won't be with E, it will be with current page, because that exists as a value, and in this case it starts as 1. And I don't need the plus because it is an integer. This plus 1, or just this as it is. In this case, because it's a thing, we can leave it like that. Current page increment, nope, okay, just plus 1. Or we do set current, how do we do this? Set current page plus 1. There we go. Oh wait, no, we're already on set current page, aren't we? This is the function for set current page. So it's equal to current page plus 1 or just current page. Okay, cool. So that is that. Similarly, for the toggle previous, comment all of that out, which is no longer necessary. And we set the current page to when it's greater than 1, we negative and current page. That's all we need. Now we can comment out this entire function because we no longer need it, and that. I'm going to comment those out and show you what you do now in the text. So what we now need to do in the text is to take current page. I'm going to copy that because you'll see there's some cool stuff we can do with these kinds of functions where we did it similar to here. So if I come down here to the object, so we have our form, and I can just go angle brackets, current page equals 1, question mark, and then I can do brackets, colon null is the alternative. And then I take this part, X, and put it here. I also need to put a little object on there. There we go. Because React likes you to wrap all your stuff in content. If it was just form group, it would have been fine, but because we have a div and then a form group, it didn't like it. So now I copy and paste that and put it on the next one. Copy this, put it below it. I'm gonna obviously fix it in just a moment. And number 4 is the last one. So go like that. So now I put all my top, I know it's gonna look weird for a second. Wait, it doesn't go there, it goes after that. Cool, and now we fix the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can also get rid of all this stuff, but I'll do that in just a moment. I wanted to show you that it works. I think I've fixed all the errors. So now if I go back to Chrome, share, okay. If I go next, previous, and we don't have that stupid ID system. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the rest of that. But yeah, I wanted to show you that real quick because it's it's an important distinction. I was kind of talking about the other as a for instance, because ultimately having an ID as the parameter is not the best strategy. Also, sharing an ID is not a good idea. We have 2 buttons here that share an ID. I can get rid of that. So it's a lot less code, which is awesome. We can also get rid of this part here and just literally have it call the function with no parameters. So we can get rid of that. And I'll get rid of the input parameter on both of those. So that'll clear that up. So this should no longer be an error. There we go. I can get rid of form hide for, you can see that very quickly that this cleans up our code dramatically because I don't need all this crap. I don't need to have some ID thing that looks for objects and hides other objects and everything like that. So anyway, I just wanted to quickly show you that that was the way that this should be done. But I also wanted to show you both systems because that was just something interesting to learn, I guess. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with React, and this kind of shows, especially one of the the best ways to utilize React to simplify your program. See, I just did some basic stuff. You only display this when it's current page 3 or current page 4 or whatever. And the benefit being, you don't actually have this code in the program. When this is not 4, this is not even in the page. So it doesn't even render, it's not hidden. Someone can't go to the comments and see it. It's just not there. So anyway, just wanted to show you all that. Also, one more thing, I'm not sure if you saw it the other day when we were, well, not the other day, earlier when we were working together. But on this page, for example, you might have seen min length 8. The reason it had an error was because it was in quotations. But because this is being treated as something that React is looking for, it wants it in this format. So I went ahead and fixed that, but didn't actually address that. So I wanted to record that real quick. But anyway, thanks guys. Hope you have a good time with React. See you later.